Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for today, Monday, August 12th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks for tonight's slate. It is going to be one pitcher, four hitters. It's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. And then after that, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet, which is 100% free. It's up on Facebook, it's up on Twitter, it's up on the YouTube community tab. So definitely feel free to use it as you're building out your lineups for tonight's slate overall. And then from that cheat sheet, we will be talking about my top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. But without further ado, we'll get right into the core picks for tonight. We're going to start off at the pitcher position with Luis Gil of the New York Yankees. He is $10,800. Goes against the Chicago White Sox. Some pretty limited history versus them in the past, although it is some pretty good history. He had 67 points versus the White Sox earlier this season. He's averaging 34 fantasy points per game on the season. And if we look a little bit further into what he's done so far this year, 12 wins, ERA just over 3 at 3.06. And once again, average about 34 fantasy points per game at $10,800. There's a couple pitchers a little bit higher priced than him tonight, but he's kind of my favorite pay-up option just in general. There's some guys below him, Pablo Lopez, Brady Singer, that do have some pretty good upside at the same time as well. And then we're going to move down to our hitters. We're going to start off at first base with Rhys Hoskins. He's $3,000, averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game. Goes against Los Angeles Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw is the expected starting pitcher for them. And he is 4 for 9 with 1 home run versus Kershaw in his career. Rhys Hoskins has been doing pretty well as of late, so he has at least 1 hit in 14 out of his last 15 games. However, only 2 multi-hit games during that time span, so that's kind of like the one downside with him. Does have 5 home runs during that time span and 10 double-digit performances, so doing pretty well as of late. If we look at what he's done in totality on the season, 228 batting average, 20 home runs, 59 RBIs, once again averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game at $3,000, but definitely do like his upside once again tonight. And then we're going to move down to third base with Manny Machado, $3,300, averaging just over 10 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is Marco Gonzalez as the expected starting pitcher for them tonight. And he is 6 for 11 versus Marco Gonzalez in his career, so some pretty good history there. He has at least 1 hit in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has 2 multi-hit games during that time span, 1 home run, and 3 double-digit performances. So he's been doing pretty well as of late. And then if we look at what Manny Machado has done over the course of the season, 269 batting average, 18 home runs, 68 RBIs. Once again, averaging over 10 fantasy points per game. Did kind of overcome a slow start to the year. $3,300 looks like a pretty good play once again tonight. And then we're going to move down to shorts. He's averaging just over 8 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Colorado Rockies. We're not 100% sure who's going to start this game as I am recording this Sunday night. It does sound like it's going to be Noah Davis. Cal Quantrill will not be ready to pitch on Monday, according to most reports. So if it's Noah Davis, Geraldo Perdomo 1 for 2 versus him and his career with 1 home run. So some pretty good history there. He's on a modest 4-game hitting streak as we do speak. 2 multi-hit games during that time span. No home runs. He's only got the 1 on the season so far, but does have 2 double-digit performances over those 4 games and 3 games of at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So it looks like a pretty solid value play overall once again tonight. And then last but not least, we're going to go down to the outfield with Jackson Merrill, $3,200, averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game. Going against the Pittsburgh Pirates, Marco Gonzalez on the mound once again. And Jackson Merrill, in his brief career versus him, 3 for 3 with 1 home run. So that's about as good as history as you can get for a pitcher on any given night. And he has at least 1 hit in 6 out of his last 7 games. 2 multi-hit games during that time span, 4 home runs. So he's hitting for some pretty good power as of late. 5 double-digit performances in 6 games of at least 9 fantasy points or higher during those most recent 7 games. If we look at what he's done on this season, very strong rookie campaign. 291 average, 17 home runs, 64 RBIs, once again averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game at $3,200. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $11,900 remaining, just under $3,000 per player. So looking a little bit more like a balanced build type of day. Obviously, if you want to pay down a little bit at pitcher from Luis Gil down to like Pablo Lopez, Brady Singer, you can save some money there. Pay up elsewhere. Otherwise, probably looking a little bit more like a balanced build type of day. But I think that is something very doable for tonight's slate as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack stack for tonight's slate overall. Once again, the cheat sheet is 100% free. It's up on Twitter, it's up on Facebook, it's up on the YouTube community tab, so definitely feel free to use it as you're building out your lineups for tonight's slate overall. The first two that I'm going to mention are going to be teams that don't have history versus their opposing pitchers that they're facing tonight. The Yankees will be the first one. They're going against the Chicago White Sox. Kai Busch making his second career start. He's a lefty. The Yankees typically at left-handed pitching pretty well. The next up is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays against Davis Daniel. No history versus him in the past, but has kind of struggled as of late. Doesn't have that much experience at the major league level, so it should be pretty favorable for them as well. Maybe a little bit more of a sneaky stack just in general. And then we have the Arizona Diamondbacks most likely going against Noah Davis. We will see who ultimately ends up being by the time the game starts. We'll have an update down below in the comments there if it is not Noah Davis, though. But if it's Noah Davis, some pretty small sample size versus him, although it is really good. And then last but not least, we have the San Diego Padres going against Marco Gonzalez. Not a long list of history there for most of their hitters, but they have hit him pretty well. His most recent start, I believe, was against the Padres. He ended up with only 8 FanDuel points, so not very good for a pitcher. So definitely do like the upside of that Padres lineup once again tonight. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown in terms of my core picks and top GPP teams to stack for Monday, August 12th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then, as always, I'll be listing all the updates that do come out throughout the day, whether that's weather-related, starting pitcher-related, and the starting lineups as they do get announced throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely be sure you're checking out down there as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks Monday through Friday. And then I also do have my CFL DFS video coming out once a week, typically on Wednesdays. So definitely feel free to check that out if that's something you're into as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you are a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,500 in aggregate. So some pretty good opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS tonight.